There's a reason people underestimate crowds. They look harmless. Families, tourists, kids with sunscreen dripping down their faces. But a crowd isn't a collection of individuals. It's a living organism. One pulse, one temperature, one reaction waiting to happen. At Aquatica, the crowd is the system. It moves like water. Unpredictable, heavy, and impossible to stop once it builds momentum. The pressure starts small. A broken drink machine, a line that doesn't move, a locker that won't open. Then the heat kicks in. Florida sun, 98 degrees, humidity thick enough to choke. People start to sweat. Patients start to run thin. And suddenly the park's design, the color, the music, the illusion of control, becomes the perfect trap. You can feel it in the air, the sound of frustration, the ripple of irritation spreading through the crowd. This episode isn't about chaos, it's about pressure. How it builds, how it spreads, and how fast it turns ordinary people into part of the experiment. Because when the system gets hot enough, it doesn't explode, it melts. Welcome to the Mind War Podcast. This is the Aquatica Files, the pressure cooker.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Mind War Podcast, episode 2 of the series that we call the Aquatica Files. I'm Grandmaster, along with...
What's up, everybody? Badger.
Okay, so kind of a problem that we've encountered while going to Aquatica is crowds. And the problem with crowds is, people underestimate because of the crowd.
Right.
I think that people think crowd is just a bunch of individuals standing close together, shoulder to shoulder, whatever. But a crowd is a creature in itself, a living organism. And Aquatica, that place feeds it like a beast.
And once that beast wakes up, it doesn't care about rules. It doesn't care about policies or park maps. It moves on instinct. It pushes, it pulls, it swarms. And Aquatica's layout, tight walkways, bottleneck bridges, narrow queues, turns that instinct into pressure.
The only thing good about Aquatica, I would say, is it's kind of a circular thing. So you can, it's all, you come back around in a full circle.
Sure.
That's the only positive to the crowds, and there's ways to get away. But, it's always a body bumping and all that. But I think sometimes pressure is the key word, because pressure changes people's behavior.
Right.
You put 1,000 people in 90-degree heat, shoulder to shoulder, waiting for a ride that's delayed. You're not dealing with guests anymore. You're dealing with a stress system on the verge of snapping. Now, the benefit to Aquatica is you can get into water when it gets hot.
Right.
Right. So I'll come back to that ride later. So there's some things that can clear up some of that madness that we've encountered or that people encounter. But let's not escape the fact that a lot of it is young kids.
Right.
And unlike the older people that have maturity and will maybe not snap and maybe not, act immature or get out of line, a lot of these young kids don't have that.
Right.
And that's where we run into the problem.
And that's exactly what happened with the Ray Rush incident. A ride goes down, lines back up, staff is trying to redirect people, but the crowd doesn't want to be redirected. They want answers. They want movement. They want relief.
And then what happens when they don't get it? They turn on the nearest authority.
Right.
That poor lifeguard, or they're not called lifeguards, they're their water safety team or something like that. And they're not turning on these people because they're bad people, but because the environment rewires them.
Right.
The situation dictates your behavior.
All the time.
Sometimes and we need to learn as humans to kind of control that. But the stress makes you tribal, heat makes you impatient, confusion makes you aggressive.
Well, and when you add all those together with a staff that is not prepared, not mentally, not operationally, they were outnumbered, outpaced, and most importantly, outcommunicated.
Well,
you can't control a crowd if you can't communicate with it.
Well, and it seems to me that, like, when we saw the staff or the water safety team leadership,
right?
They dismissed a lot of the
workers
and crowd.
and crowd.
They walk around with their heads up like they're I don't know what their mentality is or what they're being trained or how to talk, but their communication, they don't have any. And when you don't have, it's the casualty behind the filing system. When guests don't know what's happening and who to talk to, they fill in their own blanks. And as humans, we're not very good at filling in our own blanks when it comes to pressure and being upset or whatever.
Well, let's just take you and I for an example. We're stuck in a line. It's moving, then all of a sudden it stops. We've been in this line for 30 minutes. You're kind of trapped now because you're halfway in, there's a full crowd behind you. It stops. First thing you and I are going to do, I'll bet somebody got hurt. The ride broke. Something happened. Oh my God. Well, then you start getting nervous. Are we safe? Should we even go on this ride?
Yeah.
What if we die? Now all of a sudden you've got an upheaval of people standing in line, hot, can't get in the water because they're trapped in this line, and no communication.
Well, it's like when we were going in the other day, and one of our people that was with us came up, and this couple behind us. Now, mind you, we are like 2 people from the check-in to be let into Aquatica, and one of our people that's with us come walking up to get in line with us, and this couple behind us got agitated. So instead of fueling a situation, I turned to them and said, "Hey, do you want to go in front? We'll let you go before us." We did. There was really nobody behind them, but for whatever reason they were agitated, and I was like, "Hey, you can go in front of us. We don't mean to add an extra person to our party, but he was with us,
right?
But had to use the restroom, so you can go ahead." And then the guy got embarrassed because I was being polite. That's how he should handle the situation. But see, he was already hot. He was already agitated, and he was out of towner.
Right.
So that they don't know how to act when they come here, and not everybody, but this.
Well, and to be
individual.
Fair, Floridians don't know how to act with tourists.
Yeah,
we're horrible when it comes to tourists.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways, but it all boils down to that communication. You tried to communicate with him.
Yeah.
He got embarrassed, kind of shut down.
Yeah.
It
went away. Yeah. And when you try to talk to staff, I think they're trained to say the same thing. "I'm sorry.
Right.
There's nothing we can do about it. I can put another sticker on your cup since they're stealing from you. It's out of my hands or out of my control. Well,
we'll refund you for the locker price."
Yeah, but we don't really do it.
But we're not addressing the problem. We're just band-aiding so that you'll go away so that we don't have to. And not that Aquatica has ever tried to push us away.
No, Aquatica's
it's
a
how
great
they're
place.
trained.
It's a great place, but we need to let people know what's going on.
Exactly. It's the communication. Rumors spread faster than water down the slide.
Yeah.
The ride's broken, someone got hurt, they're hiding something. None of it verified, but in that moment, everybody believes it.
Of course. Well, again, because I think because the crowd wants information, not apologies. They want clarity. They want direction. They want someone who looks like they are actually in control.
Right.
But I don't think there is anybody. But the crowd doesn't project control. They project confusion. And confusion is contagious. They literally do not have anybody walking around that you can go, "Excuse me, I need some assistance with something." Because when a little kid was missing, it was the police that were there.
Right.
Not the water safety team leader who walks around like he's a tough guy. Water management team leader or whatever.
Yeah.
They're walking around and they treat their employees like crap. No, they'll be a lifeguard. And I noticed this plenty of times. A lifeguard, a water team member, safety team member, and a group of the leaders will walk right by them and not even stop and go, "Do you need anything?
Right.
Are you good?" Nothing.
Well, how many times have we seen a lifeguard flag down a water management safety leader, team member, whatever the
heck they're called?
We've seen them flag them down and hand them their water bottle. "Can you refill my water bottle, please?" That should be something as management that you should be checking on with every single lifeguard there.
Yeah.
They're not in the water. They're standing in the heat.
Yeah, exactly.
So as your supervisor, you should be looking at those lifeguards going, "Do you need anything? Can I bring you a drink? Are you good?
Yeah,
Everything
but
okay?
See, that's where the tipping point starts. And what exactly is the tipping point?
Well, the tipping point came when the crowd started self-organizing. That's the moment you lose control. When guests start making their own decisions, cutting through barriers, climbing railings, pushing staff. The system's no longer in charge. Refilling drinks.
Well, see, and that's where it gets dangerous, because once a crowd realizes it can break a rule, and a crowd can be 2 or more people.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 people, 4 people, whatever, and they can break a rule.
Well, it usually only takes one. One person bold enough to say, hey, I can cross that line and go right there. So that one does it.
No consequence. Right? So then they go, well, heck, I'll do another one again. I'll keep going. Because then what's next? What will be the next thing they do? Because obviously no one's controlling them from stealing.
Right.
What's next? I mean, and I saw a person go through get their food and just bypass the register and go sit down.
Didn't even pay for it.
No.
Right.
And no one did anything. The person was afraid to go and say, hey, did you pay for that? Because now they're going to be told, are you doubting me? You know.
Well, and that's how you get people entering restricted areas. That's how you get fights over tubes. That's how you get parents screaming at teenagers who work for minimum wage.
Well, and that's how you get injuries. And it's not from the rides, it's from the people.
So let's talk about the human factor, because every failure at Aquatica comes back to one thing. People being pushed past their limits.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the heat. And then, of course, staff is being, pushed by the volume of people.
Right.
Security including. And it's understaffed. I'm sure they're understaffed because, you want to... The place is like any other business. Wants to make money.
Right.
So less staff, whatever. And when all this happens at the same time, the system tends to collapse.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we're seeing it all too much at Aquatica, and I really feel bad for the staff that work there. I don't care if they're the supervisors of the water safety team or the lifeguards, or whatever they're called, or the people that's serving the food or whatever. You can see the pressure in their faces. They're under a lot of pressure.
Very much so.
And I don't think that's the environment, or that's the projection that Aquatica wants people to see.
Right.
They want people to see people happy.
And friendly and outgoing.
Yeah.
And the park's design doesn't help. You've got choke points everywhere. Bridges that funnel crowds into single lanes. Staircases that create vertical pressure. Ride entrances that force people into tight clusters.
Well, see, it's a pressure cooker, and they don't fail. They all fail slowly, but explosively. So I'll give you an example. I've gone to Aquatica a lot, and it used to be in a time where you could never find a life vest.
Right.
Because people get them and they hold on to them. Well, it's been some time since I've been there, so these last bunch of times that we've gone, been a lot of people there, but there's been a lot of vests.
Yes.
A lot of life vests for little kids, for adults, whatever. And that must have been an issue, because it was an issue in the past.
Right.
Because once you get it and you hold on to it, once you got one, you didn't get it down.
Right.
If you put it down, someone else is going to need it and take it. And it was okay to keep it.
Right.
Right? So if you got off the river or rapids, you should leave your vest, because that's where it's at. You should take it off. But a lot of people were keeping it for the wave pool,
the lazy river,
whatever, right? So all those other things come into play. But I think now Aquatica saw that problem. That problem was a problem for years. Mm-hmm. They saw that problem and said, hey, we're going to fix it. Well, you better start getting on the drink situation, the food situation, and the overall stress situation of your employees.
Right.
Because that's next.
Very much so.
Because the vest situation was a problem. If you laid your vest down and walked away, someone grabbed it, you got mad. Well, it's not yours. It's the Aquatica's. When you were done on that ride, you take it off and you lay it down.
Just like a tube. But how many times have we seen people walking around with tubes?
Yeah. Now, I can understand you have a little kid and it fits them. You want to keep it with them because that way they don't drown. I have no problem with that. But I'm talking about grown-ass adults.
Right.
Take
or
it off.
Older teenagers.
Yeah, you don't need it as an old teenager. Put it down, Yeah.
So episode 2 is simple. Aquatica's biggest threat isn't criminals, it's crowds. crowds that grow, shift, and mutate faster than the park can respond.
And in our next episode, we're going to go just a little bit deeper, because if episode 1 was about opportunity and episode 2 is about pressure, 3 is about the things that tie them together, the collapse of trust.
And Tim Bears, when guests stop trusting the system stops existing. And that's where the real danger begins.
Yep. And welcome back, folks, to the Aquatica Files. The deeper we go, the darker it gets. I'm Grandmaster. Remember always to be kind.
I'm Badger. Have a great day.